Sweet. Okay, we're gonna sing one more song before we go into the message. This one's called Breakthrough. It's a new one, so just keep singing out. You guys are doing a great job. Yeah, just listen to these lyrics. They're just all about how powerful God is, and we can see breakthrough in His presence. I am weary from the waves crashing over every day. God of mercy, please come rescue me. Dear Heavenly Father, God, thank you that we're able to be out here today and just be together and worship you and glorify you, God. I pray that you would just open up our hearts and open up our ears to hear you today, God, and that you would just speak through Tyler in the message today, and that we would just be able to hear you and be in your presence, God. We long for you and we love you so much, and just thank you for everything, and we trust you, Jesus. We pray this in your name. Amen. All right, you guys can have a seat and check out this video.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's good to see you. Hello. As I'm getting settled, I just wanted to say it's nice kind of being in the Christmas season, right? How many of us love Christmas? We get really excited. How many of us love Christmas because it's just a season that we can just get all warm and cozy and cuddly with family, just like we get new Christmas pajamas, all that fun stuff. But yeah, hey, I want to point you to something new. I don't have it in front of me, but if you guys have your bulletins, I think you guys all got a bulletin hopefully passed out to you. If you want a bulletin to follow along with the fill in the blanks and all that stuff, there you can come over to Jen over here, and she has them. Don't be afraid to just hop up and grab it if you need it. The cool thing in it is, especially if you guys have a phone, if you guys had a phone and you were playing the game, then you realize, well, if you have a phone, then you probably have a smartphone, and your smartphone can scan the QR code inside of it. So if you guys open up to the middle of it, there's a QR code, and that QR code helps us know what's going on with your life. So we have this QR code, and it will direct you. Is this cutting in and out? It'll direct you to a Connect card. The Connect card is the best way for us to stay connected with what's going on with you guys. It'll help us know how we and the rest of the life group leaders and stuff can be praying for you. And so you can go on to that. It'll take you to a Google form, and then that you can just fill the basics out. You don't have to fill everything out, but there's a couple things that you have to fill out. And if you have a prayer request or anything like that, we'd love to just know what's going on in your life and how we can be praying for you. So we're all high tech up here now. We're trying to get more like fancy, I guess. I don't know what the word is, whatever. But yeah, we have QR codes instead of just paper now. But hey, if you don't know me, if you're new, or if this is even like your first, second, maybe I wasn't even teaching the first time you're here. My name is Tyler. I am the next gen pastor here at Crossroads Church. Basically, I oversee birth through high school, but I really focus on middle school and high school and pretty much everyone here. And so it's really good to see you guys. We are starting a very, very new series. This is going to be a 3-week series, but our third week is going to be a Christmas party. I'm taking some of the stuff that Chloe's supposed to announce at the end of the service, and I'm just doing it right now, but she'll just remind you. But this week we're going to talk and do worship. Next week, worship and a talk. The week after, we're just going to have a Christmas party. I'll only talk for maybe like 5-10 minutes, and then we'll play a Christmas game and probably some karaoke and all that other fun stuff. So that's going to be in 2 Sundays from now. But yeah, we are in our new series called Christmas Lights. How many of us love setting up Christmas lights because it just gets us in the mood? How many of us hate Christmas lights because it just means you have to do a lot of chores? Any of you? Jackson? Yes. Jackson doesn't like that. You're probably the one, you're the only, well, you have a dad, but you're the only, young male that says, hey, you go up that ladder and you go set those up, right? Yeah, see? I know. I get it. So, but here's the deal. With Christmas, I spend most of my life trying not to actually keep my life or keep my expectations low. I'm trying to keep all my expectations just in life in general just low. And I'm not trying to be super depressing, but sometimes I like to live by this saying, all right? It's up here. The happiest and healthiest people are those whose expectations meet reality. which means I just like to be real with people. I want to live in just the reality. And my wife doesn't really like it as much because she loves to live out in La La Land. And I'm just more like, that's not reality. Which basically just means if you keep expectations low, you're more likely to have them met, right? So you're more likely to be happy. And when that happens, you're more likely to be happy with what is happening, or at least not living in like feeling disappointed at all times. But here's the thing. See, that baby had really high expectations. And so that's why he is screaming and wailing right now out there, because his expectations weren't met. So that's why I keep my expectations low ever since I was a baby. But here's the thing. There's one area of my life where it's really kind of hard, or maybe even impossible for me to do, to keep my expectations low, and that's Christmas. Because we all love Christmas, and I get my expectations up, and I want to have low expectations for Christmas, but there is something about this season where I just can't, because I just really enjoy it. Well, that's at least what I always felt, but then I got married, and my wife thinks I'm the Grinch because I wouldn't let her decorate for Christmas before Halloween. But every year during Christmas time, I simply want it to be the best Christmas ever. I want to experience an awesome Christmas. And it's been growing every year. The more and more I get older, the more and more I have this expectation that I want this to be a great Christmas. I want all the warm and cozies of the Christmas season. And my expectations about what I want to have and what I want it to feel at Christmas can be sometimes even like just very movie-like. How many of us can get caught in those Christmas movies because we just want all those feels? Any of us? Yeah, all right, I'll get to that later. But it's not that I expect nothing throughout the rest of the year. It's not that I just like, I don't expect anything, but I expect stuff on Christmas. It's not that. It's actually kind of like this tree here. I kind of keep my expectations low. There's really nothing special about this tree. There's only a few ornaments on it, and there's some tags that you can kind of see through it because it's not real. It's kind of fake. It's not actually fluffed out. It's not, you know what? It's not the Times Square, like what you see on TV, the huge Christmas tree with all the lights. It's not that, but it's fine. And as long as I expect fine, I'm not disappointed. And so Christmas has the power over me where I just want to have all the feelings, all the food, all the decorations, all the sentimental movies, which they all kind of, at least some of them, because they all kind of seem like they're the same. And like recently I just watched one the other day, and it was so bad that I just fell asleep. It was on Netflix. But during Christmas season, I also want all the friends and all the family and all the stuff that comes along with the Christmas season and that could possibly, what Christmas season could possibly offer. Like also ugly sweater Christmas parties. I love those. Super fun. And so I want every Christmas, including the one that we are about to celebrate, to be the best Christmas ever. And the rest of the year, I may be Mr. Low expectations, but this time of year, I can probably turn into Buddy the Elf. Or, well, maybe not that much because that's pretty crazy. But I just want all the presents wrapped perfectly so that they are beautiful. And if any of you have done the Christmas wrapping with me here in the outlets, you realize that I do want my Christmas paper wrapped perfectly. I love it. But maybe you feel this way too. Your family maybe hasn't gone 5 minutes without arguing for the last 10 years. But at Christmas, you imagine just sitting around the Christmas tree, listening to Christmas music and drinking hot chocolate and smiles everywhere because everyone is just happy. Or maybe any other time of the year, you are totally being fine being single. But at Christmas, you daydream about your crush showing up at your doorstep on Christmas Eve with a present in hand that's so perfect that you couldn't have asked for anything better. Any of us daydream about that? Some of you, I know you don't want to admit it, but you're like, I wish he would just show up. Something about Christmas makes us dream big. We want something more. We raise our expectations and imagine having the best Christmas ever. But our expectations are hardly ever met at Christmas, are they? Something ends up going bad. Something gets burnt on the food. Something is bound to disappoint us. And because we expect so much, the disappointment hurts that much more. Which is why, like I said at the beginning, I try to keep my expectations of life low. Because if you think about it. So if you think your team is going to lose the football game, and then they lose, what happens? It's easier to take the loss than if you were convinced that they were going to win. If you're waiting for your grade to show up at the end of the semester and you think that you're going to get a low C in English, think how much better it is when that low C becomes a B. You'll like just be dancing in the house. You'll be stoked, right? Keep those expectations low. If you think the vacation time with your family is going to be full of frustration and fighting over to where to go, and family's going to be fighting 100% of the time, and all you will be doing is just wishing that you were with your friends, but then it turns out that they were only fighting maybe 30% of the time, and there's only 30% frustration, you're going to be pleasantly surprised at how enjoyable the time with your family turned out to be, right? Or here's some other scenarios that we shoot low in expectations, right? Here, and I think they're up here too. Will they say yes if I ask them out? I'm prepared for a no. So it's like, sweet. If I'm prepared for a no, it's not that big of a deal. Will I make the team? Probably not. I'm looking forward to being the team manager, so you keep those expectations low. Will I live a long life and be incredibly wealthy? Guessing climate change and global pandemics will probably take me out before I'm 21. That's a low expectation that like, hey, if I get to 22, I'm happy, right? See how much greater it is to not expect too much? Because you're like, sweet, I won't get disappointed. Something's going to happen. It's going to be better than what I expected. And even if you don't realize it, I bet you do the same thing that I do in some of your areas of life. Maybe you're a total optimist when it comes to like your dating life. You are sure that everyone loves you. Or maybe you are super confident in your athletic ability. And I mean, there's no question that you'll make varsity as a freshman or maybe even a sophomore. But when it comes to areas of your faith, I bet you, like a lot of us, keep our expectations low. We don't really want to dive too deep, and it's like, I'm just going to keep my level of faith just low, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. We might pray, but rarely do we think God will do exactly what we're asking for. We would say that we have faith, but the truth is we're just not sure God is going to show up and act the way that we think that he should. And because God never seems to do what we expect him to do, and when that happens over and over and over, eventually it just becomes easier to stop expecting so much from God. And what does it look like to lower our expectations for God? All right, we stop praying because we believe that God either can't or he won't do anything. I think these are up here. We believe that God can't or he won't do anything. And so our expectations are low and we stop praying. Or maybe if we keep our expectations low in our faith, we lose interest in anything faith-related because God seems just too distant or far away. Oh, he's off in heaven and he does not care about us. Or maybe we think God is weak and then assume that he's unable to do anything big or powerful for us. Or maybe we think God is just uninterested. He doesn't know or care about anything about our lives, so why bother telling him about it or expecting him to do anything in our lives? And so we don't always do it on purpose. We don't always keep these low faith expectations on purpose. We usually just kind of become this way over time. And then if God does answer our prayer, if he does show up, if he does do what we ask him, that's great. It's a pleasant surprise, right? But set out with expectations that he will do all of that stuff that you want him to do, that's a big mistake. And so that's what you feel. And so I don't know about you, but that kind of God doesn't sound like something to celebrate at Christmas time, right? This God that we just have low expectations of. Oh yeah, we celebrate Christmas and cool, he's a good fun, like yeah, it's Jesus, but I more care about the presents and getting what I want. But what if we got him all wrong? What if we were missing the point and there was a better way, a more realistic way, a healthier way to see God, that if we really understood would it actually make this the best Christmas ever? If we really understood the God that he is, then would this make this the best Christmas ever? So what's the point and what is good really like? And so the good news is we aren't the first ones to have expectations of God and have him not meet them. In fact, the Christmas story, the story that we are celebrating for the next couple weeks, didn't happen like everyone expected. It didn't meet their expectation. And that may sound strange because the story may be familiar to us. So to imagine it going any different would be weird, right? Like, no, we know it's a baby Jesus, and that's what we celebrate. But the truth is that in no way, 2,000 years ago, were they imagining God sending his son the way that he did. Jesus did not come the way that they expected at all. But before we go any further, let's get a refresher on the details of the Christmas story itself, all right? So Mary, the mother of Jesus, she was young. She was probably about some of your guys' age, maybe like 15, 16 years old. And she was the mother of Jesus. She was young, she was pregnant, she was a Jewish teenager, not yet married. And she and Joseph, the man she was engaged to be married to, did not have a lot of money. And they were living in a land occupied by Roman Empire. It's basically like we're living in America and like the Canadians came in and like invaded our land, and we are now part of the Canadian world, even though we want our America back. That's kind of what the life is like there. And so at the start of the story, the Roman government has decided they want to have a count of all the people that they are ruling over. And so it's called the census. They were taking a census of, okay, who is living here? And so every family was told to go to the town where they were originally from to be counted. So Mary, who is pregnant, has to get on a donkey and make a hot and dry and miserable trip to get to the town where Joseph's family is from, which is the town of Bethlehem. And it sounds awful, right? Just thinking about this pregnant, very pregnant lady just trying to take a long trip on a donkey. But don't worry, that's not all. So once they get to Bethlehem, their destination, all the hotels are full. Joseph forgot to book the Airbnb or get a hotel on hotel.com. And now Mary isn't just super pregnant and tired and uncomfortable. Now she's also got nowhere to sleep. And then just because there wasn't enough going wrong, Mary ends up going into labor. And so as in the baby is coming now, like here, now, in this moment, far away from their home, with no bed to sleep in, or even a place to put the baby. And so now I know things were different 2,000 years ago, and I know there was a different culture for that time and place, but I can promise you this, it doesn't matter what culture you are from or what time you are living in, this situation is less than ideal. It actually stinks. Like, it stinks to think about like someone having a baby in the situation that they were in. Because in Joseph's desperation to find a place for Mary to have this baby, the only thing that they could find was a barn with barn animals and the smells that come with those animals. It's not just like this really pretty, like, oh, this really white lamb is laying here. It's like that lamb probably rolled around in the dirt all day and probably just pooped right next to where it's sleeping. It's like that doesn't sound or smell good. And so that's where they ended up. So that's where Mary had her first child, away from their family, away from their home, away from anything that was comfortable. And she had her baby, just her, Joseph, completely alone, and no one expected it. In fact, if I had been Mary or Joseph, I would have been much more likely to start thinking and questioning that God is distant. Jackson, God is distant. I would have felt like, okay, God is distant, because why would he be putting me through this? Or is God is mad at us? Maybe we did something wrong. Or God is punishing us. Or God has just abandoned us. We shouldn't be having a baby in this situation. God just abandoned us. Or maybe that just God is silent. Like, I'm pretty sure that he promised me this, but why is it turning out this way? He just went silent. Because if God doesn't do what we think he should, if God doesn't behave like we expect him to, then it makes sense to assume that we've done something wrong or God isn't what we thought. In fact, chances are there are a lot of people who already thought those things about God long before he sent his son to be born in a barn, because for hundreds of years right before this all happened, God had just been silent. He had been quiet. There was no prophets with messages from God to hear. There was no sign of being freed from this Roman Empire that was controlling them and ruling them. There was no indication that God even cared about them anymore, let alone that he was doing anything. They had originally expected that God was powerful. They thought he was going to, when he came, they were going to expect this military leader, that he was going to take the land back from everyone. Or they had this expectation that God was obvious. He was going to show up in a palace or in a wealthy family, and everyone was going to look to him and be like, that is God. Or that God was predictable, that doing what the people wanted if they were following the rules. And so God was going to show up and be happy that they are the way that they are, and like, oh, you're a good person, so man, you're good. Or maybe they were expecting that God was exactly like they were expecting to be, or arriving like they thought, and with a message that they wanted to hear. But for all the expectations that they had of God, that, okay, God is going to come to this earth, and for all the expectations that they had, it turns out that they missed the one that mattered most. It wasn't that God had let them down. It wasn't that God had completely gone silent to them, which would have made him undependable or weak or not worth following. It was that they missed who he really was and expected something completely different than who God had always been. And who was God? What was God like? Well, an angel showed up to tell Joseph exactly what God was going to be like when he arrived. And the angel said this in Matthew 1:21. Matthew 1:21 through 23. It says, she will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. So they expected this warrior to come, and everyone would know that is God. They expected a ruler to come and say, no, that is God. They expected someone who's just the punisher of enemies, and he was just going to come and punish all the enemies of Israel. They expected a king. They expected someone to take charge, and that was going to be God coming. And then they were disappointed because he came as a son. Because their expectations did not meet what reality was. But the truth is, they got something far better. They got a God who was with them. He was Emmanuel, God with us. Not in a palace, but in a barn. Meaning he wasn't out to reach the rulers. He was an accessible and reachable God. God with them was an idea that they didn't expect. They expected this leader who's going to rule them, but they ended up getting someone who's going to be with them. But it was an idea that changed everything. God with us means no matter what, we are never alone. No matter our behavior, no matter our good days or our bad days, no matter our family situation or our family status, no matter what we've done that we are not proud of or that we are embarrassed of, no matter what. So what I want you to remember is this: no matter what, God is with us. God is with us. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, God is with us. It started with Christmas, but it continues to be true because of Jesus' death on the cross and his resurrection and his leaving the Holy Spirit to be with us forever. In other words, the Spirit of God lives in us as a reminder that we are never alone. It was like for the first time, the lights came on for them. I know it's like daytime, you can't really see it as much, but the lights came on. And it's like, oh, I get it now. There's something deeper and behind the scenes. I was expecting a whole bunch of ornaments and all this other stuff to be on it, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of lights behind it. And the light that helped us see God differently, see ourselves differently, and to see everyone else differently. And it's a light that is with us, and we can use it in every area of our lives. So when you think of God with us, it actually changes everything. It means no matter your reality, God is with you in it. No matter what you're going through, God is with you in it. Your family may seem super dysfunctional, just a complete wreck, a complete mess, not what you expected at all, but God is with you. Your dating life isn't what you may want it to be. And you just, man, I just feel single. No one likes me. God is with you. You're failing geometry. God is with you. You didn't get the part in the play that you wanted. God is with you. You're scared about what is happening in the world with all of COVID and all that other stuff that's just like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why are we going through this? God is with you. In other words, you are not in this alone. You aren't left to figure out life and scary stuff and annoying stuff and all the stuff that you worry about. You're not left to just figure it out on your own because God is with you. Jesus changed the way that we saw God. He gave us a new way to understand God and to relate to him. In fact, in John chapter 8, verse 12, Jesus said this about himself. He says, I am the light of the world. Light helps you see what you didn't see before. Light shines through in the darkness, which is exactly what Jesus did for us with God. Jesus helps us see who God is. The light helps us know what to expect from God and who he is, and that is good news. And so you might be asking, okay, so what? God is with me. What can I do with that? Well, for you, it might just mean one thing. Find one way this week to keep reminding yourself that God is with you. Maybe it's writing a note on your phone, or asking your life group leader or a trusted friend or an adult to help remind you. Or maybe you've known that God is with you and you just need to try reminding someone else this week that God is with you. And here's the thing, when you know that God is with you and you know that he's promised never to leave, it's far more difficult to disappoint God because that is a promise that he will never break. Christmas is the best time to take a second look at the way that we see God, ourselves, and the people around us, and to let Jesus shine a light on the amazing promise that he is. And that's the God of the universe, that he came down to this earth to show you that he loves you, to show you that he cares about you, and to show you that he is with you. So let me pray. Father, I just pray that if anyone here has just kind of felt alone recently, they felt disconnected, they felt like they don't know what life is bringing about. Father, I just pray that they can understand and know that you are with them right now. You're not with them, or you're always with them too. It's not that you're just with them now, but it's that you're with them wherever they step foot. So, Father, I pray that you open those doors, open their eyes, open their hearts to what you have to say and what you want to do. And so, Father, I pray that if anyone is feeling lonely, if anyone is feeling separated from you, I just pray that they can feel your presence, especially right now as we sing, God. May your Holy Spirit come in this place and just spread out here so we can just know and trust you. So, Father, you are good. We thank you so much for your goodness. Thank you for bringing Jesus here to this place that we can celebrate him, celebrate you, and that we can know that you are with us. We love you, Jesus, and pray this in your name. Amen. We're going to go into another song, and then we'll close out. But I'm going to ask you guys, if you guys can stand and sing out to this. Remember, God is with us. So right now, God is here. And so we are worshiping and singing out to him because he is with us.
Okay, we're going to sing one more song. That was awesome. Okay, you guys can have a seat because we're going to go through a couple announcements. Great job, guys. That was amazing. Okay. So first off, we have winter camp, which we have been talking about for like a month or two. It is going to be on January 15th through 18th. It's coming up soon. And it is $325 until December 13th, which is next Sunday. And after that, it goes up $50 to $375. So make sure to sign up as soon as possible at iCrossroads.org/roots to save $50. And if you need a scholarship, you can pick up a scholarship application that is on that table where Jen is. And then you can give it to Tyler. If you have any questions about that, talk to Tyler. And it's going to be super fun. I've gone like 3 or 4 times, I don't know. But it's been amazing every single time, so I highly encourage it. It's a great time to get closer to everyone here and to God, which is awesome. Okay, next we have cleanup crew. Since we're outside, we need help cleaning up everything that's out here. Has to all go back inside. So whoever can stay and help, that'll be much appreciated. The more people, the quicker we'll be done. Next, Tyler already mentioned this, but just a refresher, we're having an Ugly Sweater Christmas party on the 20th, so you can add it to your calendar right now so you don't forget, and make sure you can come. Make sure you go buy an ugly sweater or make one if you don't have one, because they're great. Okay, and then Tyler mentioned this too, but the Connect card that is on the bulletin, if you haven't filled it out, please do so right now. And give me a thumbs up if you're done filling it out. Just want to make sure that everyone does. I don't see a lot of thumbs up, so I'm going to give you guys a minute to do that. Right now. I don't see anyone doing anything. I see like 3 thumbs up. 4, 5. If you don't have a phone and can't do it right now, I don't really know how to solve that problem. Bring it home, use your parents' phone. Yeah, you can do that. Okay. Just giving them a minute. Okay. Okay. And then right now, you also need a phone for this one. I feel so bad. If you don't have a phone, I'm so sorry. But go, and you need an Instagram, which some people don't have. But go onto our Instagram at CSM Roots right now. We made a post about the bottom line for this week. Oh, God is with us. It's a beautiful picture of Izzy. So that's great. Like, comment, share, do whatever you want to do, but the more interaction we have with it, and the better, because then we can share it with people who don't go here, and they can see a little glimpse of what our youth group is about, and maybe come to church or hear about Jesus for the first time. So it's like our little social media ministry. So, yeah, that'd be great if you can do that. And the last announcement, you can actually stay on the Instagram if you're there, press the link in our bio, and you'll see a link to our TikTok. We just started a TikTok, which is super exciting because I love TikTok. I know many of us are obsessed with it. So we already posted like 4 videos, and we have a lot of great content coming. So please follow, and yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. That's basically it. Our username is the same as the Instagram at CSM Roots. So hope you enjoy that. Hope everyone has a great week. Bye, guys.